everyone.
Welcome to the blind zone. What is a blind zone, you say? It's something that happens all of a sudden, or it's something that you refuse to see that was right in front of your face. And today we're going to be talking about the topic of distraction. And I've been very distracted lately, and I was trying to think of what I was being distracted from and by. And I remembered that one of my favorite pastors, Andy Stanley, had said something that I believe to be true. He said, what you're being distracted by is not nearly as important as what you're being distracted from. And I thought about that, and that was really true. So there have been lots of things going on, and this morning in my time of prayer, I proved to myself that I am very distractible these days. I was having my time of prayer, and it popped in my head, you know what? You need to get those pictures for your website. And I'm like, I don't need to do that right now. But it was really almost an urgent, yes, you do right now, right now, right now. And then I thought again, what I'm being distracted by is not nearly as important as what I'm being distracted from. And the distraction was from praying. So I knew that I had to make a video about this because I'll tell you in a minute why this is so important. But there's something that further uh, galvanized this was, excuse me, I had read my devotional, and it's by Truth for Life, and it's by Dr. Charles Haddon Spurgeon. And I've asked my production manager and friend Kelly to read it, and then I'll discuss why it's relevant. So, Kelly, she's going to read it, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, this is titled Constrained on All Sides. Stand firm and see the salvation of the Lord. Exodus 14:13. These words contain God's command to the believer when he is reduced to great straits and brought into extraordinary difficulties. He cannot retreat, he cannot go forward. He is shut up on the right hand and on the left. What is he to do now? The Master's word to him is, stand firm. It will be well for him if at such times he listens only to his master's word, for other and evil advisers come with their suggestions. Despair whispers, lie down and die, give it all up. But God would have us put on a cheerful courage, and even in our worst times rejoice in his love and faithfulness. Cowardice says, retreat, go back to the worldling's way of action. You cannot play the Christian's part. It is too difficult. Relinquish your principles. But however much Satan may urge this course upon you, you cannot follow it if you are a child of God. His divine decree has bid you go from strength to strength, and so you shall, and neither death nor hell shall turn you from your course. Even if you are called to stand firm for a while, this is in order to renew your strength for some greater advance in due time. Precipitancy cries, do something, stir yourself. To stand still and wait is sure idleness. We must be doing something at once. We must do it, so we think, instead of looking to the Lord, who will not only do something, but will do everything. Presumption boasts, if the sea is before you, march into it and expect a miracle. But faith listens neither to presumption, nor to despair, nor to cowardice, nor to precipitancy, but hears God say, stand firm, and immovable as a rock it stands. Stand firm. Keep the posture of an upright man, ready for action, expecting further orders, cheerfully and patiently awaiting the directing voice. And it will not be long before God shall say to you, as distinctly as Moses said to the people of Israel, go forward.
Thank you, Kelly, because part of the distraction for me is, as I've mentioned before in the blind zone, is I am starting, I want to do a revival. I'm sorry. I don't want to do a revival. I want God to do a revival, and I am praying that He allows me to help in that endeavor. So I've been talking a number of times on the Blind Zone about give me 100 praying people. And what that devotional told me was a lot of the things that I was thinking, not the cowardice part, you can't do it, but to stir up, get involved, put your hands on it, try to make it happen. And the distraction is there's two distractions with that. For one, the distraction of getting involved and not waiting on the Lord means that I think I know best and that I'm going to try to work it out in my own devices. And at the beginning of this journey, I had talked to a bunch of people and we were trying to find the venue where it was supposed to take place. And out of all these people who were churchgoers, the door was shut and it was no, 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 no. Then I started to pray, what is it I'm supposed to be waiting for? And again, when I contact these people, I want to have had them get the tap on the shoulder from God that says, now, now is the time. You have been called to this, and this is confirmation. But if I didn't wait on the Lord and I tried to do it under my own guise and strength, then it would have all fallen apart. And the other distraction is where I I don't put this in perspective, or I start to drift sideways and think, well, I guess it's just not for now, instead of being vigilant and diligent in my time of prayer, saying, I know that this is going to come to pass, but I have to wait and see what the Lord has for me. And again, these last couple weeks have been very difficult with the distractions and the learning to wait. And it's a transition I'm in. And I had a very dear friend of mine talk to me about the transition she's going through. And I said, transitions are very dangerous times because you want to hook yourself up with the people who are around you instead of the exact right people. And so my suggestion to her, as it is for me now, is to strap yourself to the cross. Don't get any further away than an arm's length. Hang on to it, and that He will carry you through the transition. And this is the other thing. I want to be standing so close to the Good Shepherd that every time He turns around, He trips over me, because I know that in my folly and in my distractedness, I can walk away and get lost in places that I have no business being. Now, I'm not in fear of doing that, but I know that our heart's prone to wander, and I don't want that at all. So, my thing today is with the distractions, I've been praying that they be removed or that I be made aware of them, because what I'm being distracted by is not nearly as important as what I'm being distracted from. So, my goal again, give me 100 praying people. That is the from. What I'm being distracted by is Satan trying to tell me all the ways that I could get involved to help God, or that this is never going to work. And so when I read that devotional, it was just confirmation that God does have His hand on this, and that what I'm supposed to do, I just have to do through the power of the Spirit and not in what I'm trying to attempt myself. So I I know that when I do the Blind Zone episodes, I learn so much about who I am in this process, and so I'm grateful. So I don't know how much it's blessing anybody else, but it sure has solidified some things in my head. And again, I couldn't do this without Kelly as my production manager. She's been faithful to come over and then do the extra reading stuff as asked. It's a team effort, but I wouldn't have done any of this without the Lord's leading. So I'm grateful for that. So, phew, that said, I had another confession day there for you, but I will see you next week on The Blind Zone, and thanks for watching.